Want to do a bit of an article, read from one of my latest articles, From Russia with Love, my accidental German fan club. No, I did not run over his cat. There are a few things stranger than logging off while waiting for a major media release and logging back in to discover you've become a trending topic in a country where you don't even live. Yet here we are. Apparently, a self-proclaimed German cybersecurity expert is so desperate to stay relevant and perhaps line his pockets with rubles to crypto, decided to launch a social media crusade denying verified reporting of a potential war crime. A few of his comrades quickly joined the parade, declaring that international cybersecurity work, verified research, and first-hand reporting on state-level malware must be some kind of elaborate scam. Overnight, I was rebranded a scammer, fake hacker, criminal, all according to people who have likely never stepped into a war zone or handled a malware sample. Adorable, really. Those who can't make history post Russian-styled BS about those who do. The storyteller girl and the birthday troll. Ah, yes, the storyteller girl. That must have been a term of endearment from the self-described German thought leader who tried to discredit my career. I just had my birthday. Girl, you say, how sweet. His first slanderous outburst appeared under a journalist's LinkedIn article about my Die Zeit interview. Cannot say this in German, but the English translation is Europe's enemies have already embedded themselves, the headline read. And it was about hybrid warfare. What's going on in Europe in 2025 in October. The irony, the very same day his outrage appeared, my own investigative exclusive with BG Elves, Professor Wikipedia, how Bulgaria's Harvard handed a professorship to a pro-Kremlin YouTuber, was released. While I was exposing how Kremlin narratives infiltrate academia inside the EU, he was busy performing one online. Timing, as they say, is everything. Then came the tantrum. Why is she called one of the most famous hackers? Why is she still being interviewed? Why is this girl given a voice? It was like watching a toddler ask 1,000 why questions before throwing himself face down on the carpet. Living rent-free in Kremlin-laced social media posts. My German fan club continued posting about me by name, but without tagging me, on all his known social media channels. Cute. I literally wrote the book on open source intelligence gathering, Hack the World with OSINT, as if I wouldn't notice. Side note, it's also listed as one of the greatest books on one of the, greatest books websites. But this wasn't random trolling. It followed the familiar Russian disinformation playbook that surfaces whenever the Hermetic Wiper 2022 attacks are mentioned. The first known digital violation of the Geneva Convention. Following this routine, deny the event, attack the witness, blur the evidence. Following legal advice, I filed a police report concerning suspected Russian aligned war crime denial and online harassment. Under German and Dutch law, public denial of events causing civilian deaths can fall under Verleumdung. I really need to learn my more practice Dutch. And even offending the dead. I will not butcher that word. The Hermetic Wiper 2022 attacks on Ukraine State Border Guard 2022 on the 25th and 26th of February caused a humanitarian crisis at the Ukraine-Syrian-Romanian border on the Ukrainian side. Verified by the BBC, Microsoft, ESET, the Washington Post, Vulture Beat, you name it, mate. Even independently verified by a journalist and crew who happened to be in Kyiv when Everything happened. And came with us in our Sprinter van slash bus to Romania. Civilian deaths were later linked to the disruption which occurred because of the Wiper virus. There was even a short documentary on the incident. It's called Russian GRU cyber attack on Ukrainian border control, February 2022. Oh, where was my German fan club in February 2022? In Germany, blasting social media hot takes as armchair experts. Where was I? In Ukraine. During the first week of the invasion, I helped coordinate the evacuation of American basketball player Maurice Creek from Mykolaiv, Ukraine, before he could be kidnapped or worse. His story later appeared in People, Fox News, and others. And we also appeared together in a variety of different video news articles. Alongside colleagues and I helped coordinate evacuations for thousands in those early months, later covered by Vice News. It was imperative that he and others like him weren't used as bargaining chips by Russia, as we later saw in other high-profile cases. If you're wondering what other profile cases, there was a U.S. lady basketball player who was traded for a notoriously really rather evil type person who was heavily sanctioned and an arms dealer from Russia. So they had a prisoner exchange. And, you want to try to avoid that. So when a self-described security guy on social media says he can't imagine why anyone still interviews me, or, or insists I'm no expert in cyber warfare or ethical hacking, I can only smile. A security guy with no background in cyber war, military operations, aviation, space, etc. Instead, he focuses on compliance because it was so important to ensure ISO 27000 whilst running a PMC Wagner checkpoint with a bus full of civilians in between Russian shelling, trying to get over the border before we froze to death. 2011 called it wants its conference badge back. While some members of my German fan club were still deciding how to spell cybersecurity, I was on stage at the Chaos Communication Congress, CCC, presenting What's Inside Your Network, a deep dive into live breaches and the 2009 Dozer.32 malware campaign out of North Korea. When I gave that talk, my detractor was still finishing his university coursework. By then, I'd already served as a U.S. Air Force aviator, later with U.S. Space Command, where situational awareness and secure network operations weren't theory, they were mission critical. My 2009 research marked one of the earliest use cases of AI in terms of machine learning and natural language processing for cyber defense, correlating intrusion data and linguistic indicators, techniques that help shape modern SIM, which is security information event management systems, and are still used and cited today. Has my critic been cited by the NATO CCDCOE? It's a Center of Excellence in Defense. Has he been invited by the EU Council in Strasbourg? Asked by the UN to brief on hybrid warfare? No, but he's very good at honking his own horn. The real risk. When experts are attacked for documenting war crimes or uncovering state-sponsored cyber operations, it isn't just reputation on the line, it's evidence. Each smear, each pylon chips away at public trust and verifiable facts. That's the real objective of Russian-aligned disinformation, not to convince but to exhaust, to make truth feel optional. It's dangerous because every minute spent defending reality in a minute is a minute stolen from stopping the next attack. This isn't about bruised ego and social media. It's about protecting the chain of custody for truth, from the field to the archive to the court. I've worked in live war zones, restored hacked critical infrastructure, and watched digital propaganda morph into physical violence. So when an online chorus tries to rewrite what happened at the Ukraine-Romania border, I recognize the playbook. History doesn't belong to the loudest voice. It belongs to the one that reports the truth. My record speaks loudly. His mostly echoes online. One question remains. Why do so many German media outlets still platform this questionable, still self-styled expert who publicly echoes Kremlin denialism, and what exactly do they gain from it? Thank you very much for listening and watching.